Hey Stampers, I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas. This is my little dog, Peanut. He's my little buddy. He stays up here with me in my stamping room or follows me wherever I go. So he's just hanging out in my lap for a minute. It's been cold and he does not want to go sit in his bed. He wants my lap where it's a little warmer. So this week I have been focusing on the Sit, Stay, Relax stamp set. It's one of the host sets from the 2022 to 2023 annual catalog. And so today I'm going to make another card with that. I'm going to be doing the book fold, which is really fun. And I have pulled together a couple of stamps and dies from other sets to make a fun little pot with flowers. But like I say, I've pulled it together from different things because I didn't want the pot to be bigger than my chair. So you'll see that in just a second. And I wanted to say, if you're in the U.S., I hope that you are having a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, that you've been able to have some relaxing time and some special time with family and friends. I know that it's one of the things I look forward to most every year. All right, I'm going to put my puppy down, switch cameras, and let's start stamping. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, this is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and I've already scored it at 5 1/2 inches. It's a Knot of Navy cardstock, but I'm going to use my paper trimmer, and I'm going to go ahead and score it again at 4 1/4 inches. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but my puppy, I call him a puppy. He's an old man, but he is not settling down. I think he has a dinosaur he's had since he was a puppy. And I think he might have hit it somewhere earlier today. And I don't think he remembers where he hit it. He does that a lot now. So he gets really excited when he finds it. Okay, so now that that is scored at 5 1/2 inches and 4 1/4 inches, I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this part. So I'm going to take my tearing tape. And I'm just going to put... Actually, I had intended on just doing 2 strips, but I think I'm going to do 3 because I will need one in the middle for my ribbon. But I want it on the edges to make sure, or at least this edge, to make sure that it's held down really well. Ooh, that's a little long, huh? Let me use my snips, and I'm just going to snip the end of that right off. Okay, so... I like to use my Take Your Pick tool to peel off the protective part here. Okay, and then I'm going to take polished pink ribbon. I'm just going to tack one end up on this end. I'm going to center it up a little bit better though. Let's see how that looks. That looks pretty good. I pull it pretty tight and then bring it back over the other side. I use those snips and trim that off again, and then I'm through with the ribbon. So it's an easy way to add just a little bit of ribbon to this card. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take a piece of Designer Series paper. This is from the Lovely Linen Designer Series paper. It measures 2 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and I'm going to use the largest smooth circle for my layering circles dies. And you know what? I was thinking I could do this with my mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, but I might need to get my big one out. Let's see. I want to leave about 1/2 inch at the top and about 1/2 inch on either side, give or take a little. Let's see if I can scoot that up just a little bit. Okay, I think that looks pretty centered. I'm at a weird angle so that it can get in the video. But yeah, I think we're good there. I'm running into my camera stand. Alright, I think I got it. Okay, so now I want both of these pieces. I'm going to take this one and glue it at the top of my card base here. Okay, and then I'm going to take this piece, and it's going to be like a rug. So I'm going to put it right down here. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for a little bit, and I'm just going to grab some scraps of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to get that dog sitting in a chair. Let's see which way. Okay, so he's going to fit that way. So I'm going to use my polished pink ink. Okay, so my ink pad put lots of little dots on my chair, which is okay, but it's not my favorite. So what I'm going to do is just clean a little bit of that off, stamp it on my grid paper here so it's dry, and then I'm going to take a plastic spoon, and I'm going to take some of this ink and just shove it to the sides and shove it to the bottom. Smoothing it away from the center here. Because I think that the problem is my ink pad is just too wet. Okay, I'll clean that spoon in a little bit. So let's see what happens now. Okay, still did it, but not as bad. And I really like that a lot better. Okay, so I'm also going to use the same scrap of paper to stamp some flowers and some plant stems. So I'm using Pear Pizzazz, and this piece, both of these pieces, come from Cup of Tea stamps. I'm going to use fresh freesia. If you don't have fresh freesia, you could also use polished pink for this part, or whatever color combination you're using. And then for my pot, I'm going to use the inside part of a teacup. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I guess this is a coffee cup. So I'm not using this, but I'm using this. Doesn't that look like a pot to you? So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that with polished pink on polished pink cardstock. So there is that piece. So a lot of this I'm going to use dies, but the dog on the chair I am going to use my paper snips to fussy cut around that. Okay, so there is my dog in the chair. I'm going to grab that mini stamp cut and emboss machine again. And I'm going to use the dies from Teacup Dies to go ahead and cut out these flowers and the plant stems. Now here in a minute, I'm going to use my paper snips again to trim these plant stems even more. And then I'm going to cut the teacup out the same way. You can, or coffee cup out the same way. You can, of course, just use paper snips if you don't have the dies. Okay, so as my my bottom plate here gets more and more used, it can sometimes be a little difficult to pick these pieces up off of my plate. So I have discovered that if I use a scrap of cardstock, I can just kind of scrape those off with that scrap. Makes it super easy. Okay, so now I'm going to use the Love You More Than coffee cup die to cut this out. But like I said, I'm going to trim it a little bit more because I don't need that handle on it at all. So I'm just going to line this up as best I can. I'm not super worried about it being super perfect this time. Okay, so I'm just going to use my snips and I'm going to cut off this part right here because I don't need that handle, like I said. And I'm going to go in just a little bit more even. There we go. So now, doesn't that look like a little pot? It's perfect. So now I'm going to line this up in here so I can see the bottom parts. Let's see, I think I'm just going to do these. So I'm going to completely cut this off. I'm going to completely cut this off. In fact, this is going to be covered up anyway, so I'm just going to go right there. There we go. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do the same right here. I'm going to go up. Okay, so this side is a little bit more tricky because I do want to go around some of these leaves a little bit more. There we go. So I'm going to put just a little bit of liquid glue on the bottom of this, right on the front, and then place my coffee cup, or my pot, right there. Then I'm going to take my glue again, and just at the top of each of these, place in just a little dot of glue. And then I'm going to use that to hold my flowers down. So I want one there, and one there. And then I'm going to use these little bits to go here and here. Just like so. So one thing I did forget is I want to use the little, so there's 3 little hearts together. This is the teacup dies. So I'm going to use that with the polished pink cardstock again and go ahead and cut that out, and this is going to go inside my card. Okay, so I've got my pot, I've got my dog, I've got my hearts for the inside of my card. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and grab my silicone mat. This thing is so handy. And I'm just going to place 3 small dots of glue on it. Now I'm going to set those to the side for a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to attach my flower pot and my chair. I think I'm going to take one more of these and I'm just going to cut it in half. I'm going to put half up here and then half. There we go, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to place this right here. And then the plant can go there. So something I realized I forgot to do, and that is stamp the sentiment. So I'm just going to take a scrap of basic white again and my polished pink. I'm just going to stamp "Wish You Were Here." Then, using my paper snips, I'm just going to quickly trim around that. And then I'm just going to glue that straight to my cardstock right here. It is going to overlap a little bit, not a lot, that's okay. If it bothers you, you can trim it a little bit closer. And just that little bit, you can get it to where it's not quite overlapping. So it's just whatever you want to do. I think I'm still going to raise it up some so that it overlaps just a smidge. There we go. And that is our card front. So for the inside, I have a 4" by 4" piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to just glue that to the inside of my card. And it's just going to center up right here. And then I'm going to use that Take Your Pick tool again. Handy dandy little thing that it is. I'm going to use it to place these hearts that already have glue on the back of them right here at the bottom of this card. Now, when I did this on my original card that I designed, I didn't have any issues with it, but because I'm on camera, I'm all thumbs. I don't know what's going on. Let's see if I use the other end. That's better. And then one more time. And then we have our 3 hearts at the bottom. I love this layout. It's super easy. It's a very simple, fun fold, and there's so much you can do with this. I keep thinking of stamp sets that I would like to use this basic layout with. So I hope you enjoyed this card. Hope you found it interesting and fun. and maybe learned a tip or two along the way, even though I had some technical difficulties myself there. Thanks for watching, and again, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, and even if you're not in the U.S., I hope that you're thankful and that you are having a wonderful time. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Those make my day. And if you haven't subscribed already but would like to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I did want to remind you, with Christmas coming up, if you are in the U.S. and you want to get your order in time for Christmas, you want to make sure that you have those orders in by December 14th. There is a link in the description to my blog post with the measurements, and also the products that I used for this card are listed in the product description below, or the product list in the description below, and also on my blog. And I'm still sending out the 12 weeks of Christmas project tutorials to all of my email subscribers. So if you want to get in on that, there's just a few weeks left. Maybe like, yeah, there's not very many weeks left, but there's a few. So if you want to get in on that, go ahead and hit that link to subscribe to my emails in the description below, and you can cancel at any time. There's no commitment or anything. You can just sign up long enough to get these emails. That's okay. All right, y'all. I hope you have a great day. Happy stamping.